It's football o'clock, friends. Celebrate Buckeye Game Day. This is the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. Key Bank opens doors.
Along with former Buckeyes DeVier Posey and Dane Sanzenbacher, here's Matty Ice.
Oh, rise and shine, rise and shine, rise and shine. Welcome in to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. I'm Matty Ice. I got my guys with me, the two former Buckeye wide receivers, DeVier Posey, Dane Sanzenbacher. Fellas, good morning. We are back together again. Bye week number 2 is officially in the books, which is odd to say, but that's the new era of football that we're in with the expanded Big Ten, the expanded playoff. How we feeling, man? Bright, dark, and early. Let me get it right. It is not bright and early out here.
No, it's going to be dark for a while, too.
It's dark and early, and it's going to be chilly for a while. Depot, how was your week, man?
It's a great week, man. I'm super excited for the game today. Got my boys coming down. There's the first time, well, like my 5-year-old, he's going to take in a game for the first time. He's played flag football, so he kind of has some type of concept of football. Yeah. So I'm super excited to see the Scarlet out, man. I mean, this is going to be a great night. I mean, and it's been a long wait.
It's been a grind. It's been a grind. Dane, it's great to see you again, man. How you doing?
Hey, it's been way too long. Yeah, I haven't been on the air enough. I don't get to hang out with you guys. People are wondering where I am. Nobody was wondering. No, they weren't.
I was wondering where you were. Listen, there's always room for you on Rothman and
That's
Ice.
what I said.
Okay?
I'm gonna just stop by.
There's always room for you on Rothman and Ice. Depot's been a part of the show for years now. We need to have you on for a segment, for a show. We need to get you on the air. I feel like you're underdressed today. Are you warm at all right now?
No, I was mad about it, and I thought I nailed it. I looked at the temperature on my phone. I was like, perfect. This is the exact 43-degree outfit. But that's such an amateur move. Like, you never try to get it perfect. Go a little bit more.
You always go over.
Yeah, I've got no gloves. You guys are bundled up.
Yeah, man.
Any emergency in the car, like just a blanket? Do you have a blanket?
No, I got nothing in there. Actually, I drove the day job car, so I've got safety equipment. I've got a hard hat.
Got some PPE.
Oh, man. Said he got a hard hat. Listen, I don't know how you're doing it. The no gloves thing, I feel bad for you. My gloves aren't thick enough. Like, Depot's out here with some oven mitts that look incredible. What do the gloves say right now?
So I went to the Grey Cup last year, and I had to buy these because I was underprepared up there. So, yeah, these are – my hands will be sweating.
They look good, man. Yeah. They look good. Dane, I think we got to congratulate Depot. I don't know if he told you, but I believe DeVier Posey coached up a flag football championship. I mean, this is now a head coach. This is a coach that is just leading young men in the world to championships and rings. So congratulations to
What
Depot.
age are we talking?
10 and 5. Yeah, we had a league championship with the 5-year-olds. We got outs in a tournament. We came in third. And then with the 10s, we ran it.
So have you liked doing this?
Yes, I have.
I talked to, our buddy Brandon Sane.
Yes.
Never thought he would get into coaching.
What?
I'm telling you. He's coaching his kids. They're living in Wisconsin now. But he's coaching his
I can't imagine him even being vocal.
I know it. I talked to him the other day, though. He's like, yeah, I'm coaching the flag football. And he's like, man, I'm way too into it. And he's like, I took for granted stuff that I just kind of know, like that's just natural to me. So he's like, even the littlest preparation, his team won the championship.
Yes.
Too.
And he probably was like me, and like I had a playbook, like I had a huddle operation. Like I was telling him, we did no huddle, and I was just calling at the line. So we were it was so much fun just for the boys to just be at that early stage of football. Great.
I love it. Dane, would you ever be interested in coaching at any level?
Are we considering like 5-year-olds a level?
Yeah, any level.
I mean, yeah, I guess I would do that level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything where it's like it starts to be the tiniest bit of like travel.
Yeah.
I guess you still get criticism at a 5-year-old level.
I can't like the parents. Like I'm sure that has to be a thing, right? Like dealing with
Yeah, I got ripped by a parent.
Yeah, that kind of
you got to kind of just stay like, hey, like you got to lean on your assistant coaches.
Put it on them.
No, you got to stick together.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, because
I called out. So
yeah, I just remember when I was growing up playing sports, hearing from some of my coaches how the parents were, and I could it was a mess.
Well, I don't think it's gotten better.
Yeah, it probably got worse.
But yeah, I don't think I would. I say no, but then again, I would think Brandon would have been the last person.
Yeah.
Like if Coach Day called you guys, or a coach that around the country at the collegiate level and said, "I want you to be my wide receiver coach," would you guys do it?
I don't know if Dane would jump off the couch for that, but I don't want to speak for him. But I know Dane would not want a crappy coach to coach his son. So that's the
also
reason why he would coach.
So that's what gets you, and that's what I've heard too. Is like guys that have done it because they're like, what's the alternative? If Coach Day called, that's kind of a different thing. That's like if you were, you almost feel
an obligation.
Yeah, it would feel like you were doing your duty.
A calling.
Giving back.
Yes, it was I don't really have a choice here.
Yeah, it's the giving back part of it.
You've been called
It's a lot. Like I can't like just imagine just the era of football that we're in right now, right? With just, you mentioned travel and just the recruiting, and now just the NIL and the transfer portal and just all of that. There's so much that's on these guys' plate. I don't know how they do it. It's for the love of the game. I'm sure that's what it's rooted in for sure. But there is a lot now that's compacted into the job.
And have you guys seen the? I think I was on the radio this week and I heard a commercial about don't call the players and like talk crap about them like on social media. Like it's basically like a social media bullying ad campaign.
Yeah. Then
also I've seen articles about the NCAA encouraging fans to kind of ease on that stuff, like in terms of like what these guys deal with, and in today's age of football, I would like to mention that it's at an all-time height, especially. I mean, can you imagine what our players went through after the Oregon game? So
right.
It's something that they deal with. It's a lot that goes into it.
It's interesting because that kind of brought up a thing for me. Remember hearing Deion Sanders go after a media member this year in regards to certain people. Maybe media members, fans feel like because these guys now are being compensated for what they do, that people can come after them a little bit more. And I've heard that from certain fans. Well, this guy's getting this and this guy's getting that, and I feel like they should be able to deal with more criticism. Look, you guys know better than me. I'm interested. How did you guys filter that in your life, whether it was hearing the positive, hearing the negative? Did you read, I don't know, Facebook or Instagram or whatever it was? Like, did you
have social media?
did you pay attention to any of that?
There wasn't really. There wasn't really social media when we were playing.
It was just
starting. We weren't being paid, so we didn't have that extra pressure. So I mean, there was part of it, but I don't remember it ever being an issue. I don't ever feel like, even when we lost at least one game a year. Sometimes it was one. Sometimes I think the most we lost was 2 or 3. We had really good teams. But I don't even remember, like, we lost to Purdue, which was a really bad loss. I don't remember the world falling apart or anybody saying anything to me. And maybe it's because I wasn't online. I mean, like, unless you caught me at my apartment complex or at the Woody, I didn't hear what you had to say about it. So sorry.
The school papers would always get me. Like, I would always get the school paper.
And you'd just be scrolling through the paper.
Well, I was a communications major, so I'm like walking in, I'll be like, oh, God, I'll grab one.
Right.
Be like,
just check it
me
out.
and Dane on the bench. Like,
doing the surrender cobra.
like, oh, God.
No, it's just because now it's cranked up to a whole nother level if these guys choose to lean into it, right? Because it's Twitter and Instagram and, SportsCenter. It's just a 24/7 cycle of news and conversation, and especially, as you guys know, with a program like this, and it's amplified even more when you come into the year with the amount of the high expectations that they had. So now here we are with them having to get off the mat, coming back from Eugene, taking it on the chin a bit. The reaction to me, it's always interesting from Buckeye fans and just talking heads coming out of a loss like Oregon, which we'll get into next. We'll look back just a little bit. I'll pick your guys' brain on some of the keys and positives and negatives of that one, and then we'll move on because Big Ten play is rocking and rolling, and Nebraska is in the house today. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
We're off to a good start so far this morning. Just took a look at all of the traffic cameras. The stretch of 315 from Ackerman to Goodale is moving with just light to moderate volumes. Looking at the surface streets, same story. Olentangy River Road has light to moderate volumes as you cruise by campus. Same story on Lane Avenue. Don't forget the Cannon Drive construction project is ongoing. In order to get on Cannon by the stadium, you need a West Stadium parking pass. With Game Day Traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
This year's starting lineup at Honda Marysville is as strong as ever, so come see us.
Choose from Ohio's largest selection of Hondas and get 0% for 60 on any new CRV, HRV, Passport Pilot, or Ridgeline with the trade.
Honda's built here, Honda's sold here. Honda Marysville. We're closer than you think.
0% with approved credit and 80% of MSRP financed. 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal at $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 10/31/24.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth, and you'll become a role model, mentor, and decision maker in any environment, at any scale. It's a challenging path, but along the way, you'll sharpen your skills and show yourself and those around you exactly what you're capable of. Decide to lead at goarmy.com/officer.
The OSU Army ROTC has scholarships available. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu.
When the leaves fall, so do the prices at Valley. Drive into autumn in a 2024 Ford Bronco at up to $9,500 off MSRP. Lease a new Escape Active, just $289 a month for 36 months for a limited time. Drive away a new Ford Edge SE and save up to $7,500 off MSRP. For these deals and more, get to Valley Ford of Columbus, the official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate.
Keep on trucking with Valley Ford of Columbus.
Hey fans, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine that helps restore aching joints. So if you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders, it's time to finally get relief, improve your mobility, and get back to doing the things you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no meds, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation with my friend Dr. Ray Tesner. They have locations in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544 or go to qckinetics.com/Columbus.
Bo Bishop here. Join us for the Make a Difference Gala, High Bank Distillery, November 12th. It's bourbon, food, and fun with Brady Quinn, Bobby Carpenter, and me. The gala benefits the Third and Goal Foundation, making a difference in the lives of veterans. Get your tickets today at 971thefan.com. 21 or older, please drink responsibly.
Bobcat Enterprises is your family-owned partner for landscaping and construction projects. Bobcat Enterprises sells and services a full line of Bobcat equipment, including compact track loaders, excavators, tractors, and more. Plus, Bobcat rents compact equipment and attachments. With Bobcat, you can rent the machine and own the results. Keep your business local. Stop by Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, or Zanesville, and find current specials and our full line of products by visiting bobcatent.com today.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like the best-selling RAV4. Now through November 4th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new gas-powered 2024 RAV4. Or lease a RAV4 LE for $339 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details. Or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Full inventory sale at Logan Services. Save up to $2,500 and 0% APR financing for 72 months on a qualifying train system. Plus, your choice of one air quality freebie. It's hard to stop a train with a system for every home and budget. Now for a limited time, save up to $1,000 on a water heater and water conditioning combo. Ask us about tax credits when you book your free estimate now. Logan Services.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
You're listening to the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Getting you ready for another Buckeye victory. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Welcome back in. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. Matty Ice got my guys, the two former Buckeye wide receivers, Dane Sanzenbacher, DeVier Posey, getting you ready for Ohio State in Nebraska. Shout out to our folks over at the Handy Gate. They're rocking and rolling early this morning. Listen, and I'm going to say this with all love and respect. Okay, if you're out here this early getting ready for this game, you are a true sicko, and I love you. Yep. And that's what I honestly like. You're a true sicko, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart with all the love that I have in my heart, because this is the true Buckeye Nation right here. When you're out here this early, you love the game.
And it's homecoming week, and we got out the car. And the best part about getting out the car, Dan asked, he said, "You're wearing a hockey jersey?" And in my mind, I was like, absolutely, like it's homecoming week. My Buckeye spirit is big. Yeah, it's large.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got mad. I was like, man, you look great.
He looks fly, doesn't he? He looks fly. And I
was crazy. These people, man.
What's crazy is that when he walked up, I said, I almost wore that exact jersey because I was going to go hoodie underneath. We could have twinned it out today, but the fit is great. The fit is great. Hey, listen, you look good today,
my homecoming spirit. Yeah. The wife actually went out last night to a few homecoming events. I was surprised, because she normally doesn't participate, but everybody's feeling good.
Okay. What's a homecoming event?
They have mixers and different parties.
Okay.
For Ohio State?
For Ohio State, yeah.
Is there an email list that I'm not on for these things?
I'm not sure.
Look at that. Just a hand delivery from the boss right there for Dane.
Solid quality.
He got the gray version of what I have on right now.
Are those fan merch? Is that fan merch?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Those are legit. Yeah, shout out to the boss man for coming through and giving him some gloves there. So, all right, let's go back. We gotta do a bit of a deep dive on what happened out in Eugene. The feeling, to me, from the people that I've talked to and people that have interacted with us on the show, is you kind of get that all hope is lost type of feel. And I haven't been there. I just haven't felt that type of way. And that's just, I think, the emotion, right, of being a fan, and I can totally understand that. And I think that's the roller coaster ride you go on any given jersey. But the scoreboard read you lost by 1 point. And there's so much to unpack there. And because I think sometimes when we talk about games like this, it's slanted towards Ohio State more than it is giving credit to the opponent. And so I'd like to remind myself correct. Yeah. I like to remind myself that Oregon has dudes, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a reason why they were talked up this offseason the way that they were. So I just wanted to start there because, Dane, I know you were talking to us earlier. You went back and rewatched the game.
Yeah.
And I'm curious from your perspective as a former player, what you saw, maybe some things that really jumped out to you as far as what led to this end result for Ohio State.
Yeah, I think, to the fan perspective, and we're fans at this point, looking at the game like that, we've talked up this team to be the Globetrotters, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the fans are disappointed that whoever that team is that always plays the Globetrotters, they won one. And and you're like, wait, Oregon is a really, really solid team.
Yeah.
And just because I think facts remain of how good this team is, this Ohio State team. Mm-hmm. You just got caught by another really good team. I went back, so when I look at it, I think the big picture is you got to a point in the game, in the fourth quarter, in the last drive, that you hadn't been in before. Some individual players had been in, but the team had not been in before.
Yep.
And frankly, didn't handle it that well. Mm-hmm. And that's all there. And not to mention, in a really, really tough environment.
Yep.
So you do that. Yeah. You hope that you're going to be better moving forward in that situation. And I thought they made some decent plays down the road, but I think overall in that 2-minute situation, everybody felt too sped up. Everybody felt too you had time. You had more time than you thought. So I think that's something that you can't simulate in practice. But you just got the learning that you needed.
Yep.
Aside from that, I thought neither team played perfect. Both played really, really well, and Ohio State could have easily won that game. or I shouldn't say easily. There's many scenarios where Ohio State wins that game.
Yeah.
If one mistake isn't made here. I mean, I think 90% of the time Will played great. I mean, I think just even watching it back, right after the game, you just remember like the slide, that the last drive wasn't perfect.
The drop snap.
The drop snap was huge.
Yeah, that was huge.
The drop snap was huge because that really turned things.
It did.
So, I mean, there's little things here and there, but watching it back, he made some great throws, some great decisions. Like, he played really, really well. So, I think there's a lot to build on there, and then there's some obvious big things you got to fix, but most of the stuff you could run back and contribute to, like, you were in a really tough environment on the West Coast. I mean, you were in a loud stadium.
Yeah.
You were and you lost by 1. So, I mean, I don't think it's time to sound the alarm. I don't think anybody was thinking, maybe some fans were, that we were going to blow them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, I mean, it is what it is, and I think if you step back from this, that's what maybe not what you expected of this season. You thought this is the Ohio State team. This is the one that just is, for the record, head and shoulders, so talented. They put the best thing that money can buy on the field. But as a football fan, if you're a football fan, that's an awesome step for the Big Ten. To have and it was a good game. Mm-hmm. If I zoomed out, I couldn't even it was so back and forth. I was trying to look at something to blame Ohio State on.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, Oregon's making these same mistakes. They missed a touchdown they could have had.
Yep. They had opportunities to separate the score.
They had opportunities to really run away with it too, and that fan base could be like, man, if they would have lost by 1, they'd been like, that should have been ours.
Absolutely.
Yep. So I don't know. I'm not ready to sound the alarm, and I thought it was a solid game.
No doubt about it. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. Visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Depot wanted to pick your brain on maybe a thing or two that really stuck with you from the trip out to Eugene.
Yep, yeah. I got 2 things, but Dane brought up a good point on what this means for the Big Ten and having another team, another product that can challenge Ohio State marketing-wise, that can challenge Ohio State literally on the field. It just says, this team's first time into the Big Ten, and they beat the powerhouse in the Big Ten. It's big for the league, right? I mean, when you look at it from that view, it sucks for us because we're Ohio State fans. Yeah, I mean, and Dane pointed out a lot of things on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, in the game, operations, when you're in a 2-minute drill, there's a calmness to an effective 2-minute drill. And, what Dane brought up is I didn't see that calmness.
Yeah, it should feel calm, right?
It should feel calm.
And it's weird to say like that because you're hurrying.
Yeah.
But it should feel like, and all the great quarterbacks have it. You'll watch them.
It's a crazy calmness.
And it's like you're moving fast, but you have to keep it down. And when I was watching them, it was a lot of scurry to get to the line, yelling. And I'm looking at the play clock, and there's still 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
So it's yes, you have to be. The 2-minute drill is more about efficiency than being fast.
Yes.
You can't make mistakes.
Yes,
you can't afford to do you just have to be really good and efficient. Yeah. But it's not about how quickly you can get lined up necessarily.
Controlled chaos, being in control of the chaos. Is that
no? It's literally you have to have 4 to 6 perfect plays, and when we talk about perfect plays, it's breaking the huddle the right way. Everybody lines up the right way. It's not one guy in the slot being like, "No, you're on the right side." That can mess up a 2-minute drill, right? Yeah. Clean operations, getting to your depths on routes, having a positive play on the first play. Honestly, when we dropped the snap or he fell on the first play, that kills a 2-minute. Not just, you normally want to start a 2-minute drill with just an easy out or easy hitch, and that wasn't there, and that stuff sticks out too. So, I mean, the 2-minute drill, we can examine that for, it could be a master class.
No, I love it. I love it. That's good stuff.
And that might not have been you're in that position.
Yeah.
If you're Ohio State, you're already in a really tough position in this game. If you're expecting to win it on the road at Oregon
in
with
2-minute drill,
in a 2-minute drill that you haven't run, if you put it in that situation, so obviously there was a ton of stuff that happened in the prior 3 quarters that put you there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: could part of that situation where you guys felt like they weren't as calm as they needed to be, did that come about because they haven't had to do that in live game action before?
Well,
you can practice that, but when you got to go into an atmosphere like that, that's just a whole new ball game.
You cannot simulate 2-minute drill down by 1 on the road.
house is rocking.
Stadium.
Right.
Like, no matter how many speakers you buy for practice.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's like when I used to play Madden, right, on third down, and the controller would vibrate. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably
the same.
That's what they, like the real-life version of that.
Your visor's vibrating. Like, that's what's more.
Right.
And what I hope, and if you look at it, too, I'm watching the game, too, you're like, oh, Ohio State's playing a football game.
Yep.
And this is the first one I've seen this year.
This is first one.
Yes.
And we're week whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, hopefully that is like, now that you have the expanded playoff, now that one loss doesn't kill you, maybe we can get to a point where, and I think it would be great for a fan, too, to not have to wait till week 7 to see a game where you're actually playing the game of football.
You'll get
like,
that next year.
Up until that point, we've just watched all games, like basically weighing it against the spread.
Yeah.
You know, like how much are we going to win by?
Right.
What are we going to be able to look at that they weren't perfect on? Now, this was the first game that they actually played the game of football, that you're seeing a back and forth, some strategy, coaches going against coaches. Yeah. And I also thought, I thought we coached the game really well, too. Like, I thought Coach Day and Chip, you know, there's some defensive stuff that I'm sure they want back, but...
Let's get into that next.
Okay,
Let's get into that next, because we'll do our What They're Saying segment. You'll hear from Coach Day on having the bye week after the loss, and we'll dive back into the defensive side of the ball. Another quick look back at the Oregon game. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Highways and side streets looking good right now. Light to moderate volumes out there as we get up and get going on this game day morning. Checking out the Lane Avenue stretch between High and Olentangy River Road. It's starting to get a little bit busier, but still moving. Olentangy River Road also looking good right now between Kinnear and Ackerman. Checking on your parking situation, the Union North and South and ARPS garages still have spots available. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
The waterworks techs have heard it all. Screeching furnaces, dripping pipes, strangled garbage disposals, overflowing toilets. Did a spooky surprise catch you off guard? Who are you gonna call?
No, not them. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222. We provide better care, better value, better results, and we'll take on any drain or heating and cooling nightmare to come your way. Happy Hallow Waterworks.
It's a crisis. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden opened our border, and Democrats helped them. Liberals have destroyed the work President Trump accomplished to build the wall and secure the border.
Sherrod Brown is a radical left politician who has played politics for 50 years, making a career of selling you out. He's for broken borders and illegal migrants pouring into your cities and towns.
Kamala and Brown have made Ohio less safe. Nearly 500,000 criminal illegal immigrants have been released into America and our neighborhoods, including 13,000 convicted murderers and untold amounts of drugs.
Bernie Moreno will stop it. He's going to secure our border. You got to go out and back Bernie Moreno. I've known him so long. An outsider, businessman who will fight for you. He's going to work with me. We're going to make America greater than ever before.
I'm Bernie Moreno, candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Bernie Moreno for Senate and NRSC.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota. With more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, anything's possible. Like the family-size Highlander with room for up to 8. Now through November 4th, you can lease a Highlander XLE all-wheel drive for $489 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Morning Juice.
If you can't sub and 20 seconds is obscenely gross, and get whatever you need unless there's guys who are just being lazy.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
1 in 3 student athletes gets disturbing messages from sports bettors. This threatens the safety and mental health of college athletes like Tyler.
I'm a student and an athlete. I don't deserve to be threatened over my play. If you're upset about your sports bet, don't take it out on me, because I'm more than a bet.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
We all know Central Ohio's growing fast. It's making traffic worse and life more expensive. That's why voting yes on Issue 47 is so important. Issue 47 will help folks get to work faster and cheaper by creating COTA Rapid Bus Service. That means more routes, better hours, and more reliable service. That will expand access to transportation for everyone in our community, from the elderly to the disabled, to veterans and students. And Issue 47 will make our neighborhoods safer and more walkable by building 500 miles of sidewalks, trails, and bikeways. When we pass Issue 47, we'll get $1 billion in matching funds from the federal government to pay for it. We're already sending our tax dollars to D.C. Let's bring some of that money home to help our community. Issue 47 means safer neighborhoods and a better quality of life for our families. It's an easy call. Vote yes on Issue 47. Paid for by moving Central Ohio forward.
When the leaves fall, so do the prices at Valley. Drive into autumn in a 2024 Ford Bronco at up to $9,500 off MSRP. Lease a new Escape Active, just $289 a month for 36 months for a limited time. Drive away a new Ford Edge SE and save up to $7,500 off MSRP. For these deals and more, get to Valley Ford of Columbus, the official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate.
Keep on trucking with Valley Ford of Columbus.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. This is the Fan's Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Buddy Wells. We will start with some college football scores from last night. Louisville rallies out of a 20-0 hole to win at Boston College 31-27. Ashton Genty's fourth quarter score helps lead number 17 Boise State to a win at UNLV 29-24. And Southern Cal wins at home 42-20 over Rutgers. As we turn the page to today, we got a great slate of games on tap, including 5 top 25 matchups throughout the day. At noon, number 12 Notre Dame faces number 24 Navy at MetLife Stadium. At 3:30, top-ranked Oregon will host number 20 Illinois, and number 21 Missouri is at number 15 Alabama. At 4:15, number 5 Texas goes on the road to number 25 Vanderbilt. And at 7:30 tonight, number 8 LSU is at number 14 Texas A&M. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, Bronco Explorer, Mustang Mach-E, and more. You can ride into autumn with Valley Ford of Columbus.
This is the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your flagship home for Buckeye football, the Fan Ohio sports destination. It's time to find out what they're saying.
All right, welcome back in. Matty Ice, DeVier Posey, Dane Sanzenbacher. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. Let's get right to it. Let's hear from Coach Day. His thoughts on having another bye week, but this time after an unfortunate loss.
I mean, it is what it is. It was a long week for all of us, and a lot of hours in here talking about it. You sit on it and you chew on it, and then eventually you move on and you look forward, and that's kind of where we are. And we did that last Wednesday. Tuesday we came out here, practice, and then Wednesday we said, okay, here's what we got moving forward. Here are the things that we got to get done and address them. So I think we did get an opportunity to get some guys some rest and get them healthy. Also get some younger guys a bunch of reps. We got back here Sunday, practice on Sunday, and now have a team meeting here at 2:30 and get back to work on a Tuesday practice.
I want to ask you guys this. Would you have rather played a game last week, or would you have wanted the bye week?
Absolutely.
What would you have wanted?
Absolutely play a game. It's just like anytime you're doing something, somebody's trying to teach you something, and you're like, and you mess it up. You're like, here, give it to me. Let me get another chance. Mm-hmm. Like you want another chance immediately, and this is a bye week that you won't forget. Like having a 2-week break after a 1-point loss on a last-second drive. You're diving and the clock runs out. The longest 2 weeks of everybody's life in that building. Absolutely.
No doubt. Would you have wanted a game, or would you have rather had the bye, Dane?
I would have rather played on Sunday.
Yes. Yes.
Than have a bye. I would have played the next day.
Makes sense. It makes sense. Before we get back into some of the defensive thoughts, Dane, I know you wanted to tap into. Let's Bodie go to the third cut from Coach Day. Here he is on his belief in Jim Knowles.
My goal, bringing Jim in was to be the head coach of the defense and to run it. But there was also, we have recruited very well in the defensive line. So, when he was at Oklahoma State, they didn't have, 4 down D linemen and then certainly no depth behind it. So, he had to be creative about what he was doing there. Decision was made a long time ago that, we have the D linemen here at Ohio State that can play with 4 down linemen. Now, might we consider some different fronts and changing that up? I think it's all very good conversation. And we have to make sure that, we're going down all those roads to make sure that we're putting these guys in the chance to be successful. We're making it, not easy for the offense to just, line up and know where we're coming from. But I think at the end of the day, to answer your question, it comes down to the personnel you have and where you are and to put them in a chance to be successful. And, I feel like, we have plenty of D linemen here and we have the right guys on the field, but we got to make sure that, we are changing it up and making sure that, it isn't just, a 4-man rush straight all the time, for sure.
Depot, what are your thoughts on what you just heard right there?
Well, there's been a lot of talk in the last 2 weeks about that subject specifically, right? I mean, we had heard talk all since Jim Knowles has got here about this jack position, and that when he got here, he didn't really think that Tumaloau and Sawyer and the guys that were on the initial recruited roster were those type of stand-up players, and that person's job is to literally rush the passer, create a rush. And so when you talk about this 4 down front and what we're going through here, and it's just kind of interesting to hear Coach Day speak about it, like, hey, like this is Ohio State, we got 4 defensive linemen, we have the guys that can make the rush, and what he's speaking to is that, hey, do we have defensive tackles, so 2 interior guys that can create a rush rather than having a guy that's his standalone ability. But in speaking on, it should be brought up in a conversation that if we're not creating a rush from the 2 interior guys, is that jack position to create a rush something we need to talk about, and something that we need to address, because Dillon Gabriel was sitting back in a lawn chair.
He was chilling.
Barbecuing some,
Yeah, he was chilling.
Yeah, so at the same time, it's like, it's interesting to hear him speak, and I know over this past 2 weeks, like, how can we create a rush and how can we do it creatively from a standpoint of, like, not blitzing DBs and being short, because when we do that, what happens is we leave Denzel alone. Yeah. So the rush has to come from up front. So having those conversations, and that was I've been talking about this for 2 straight weeks on the radio.
We all have.
I haven't heard that clip.
That clip right there.
I haven't heard that one.
He believes in the talent, as he should. That's the talent that he recruited, him and Larry Johnson did. The bottom line is, last few years, the static hasn't been there in the trenches from the D-line. It just hasn't been consistent enough. Yes, there have been games, right? We can all think about JT's game at Penn State, and Jack, I think, honestly, even going back to the back end of last year into this year, has done a pretty good job of being fairly consistent with what he does. But the standard is very high, as you guys know. I don't need to tell you that. I don't think anybody's looking for every single year having a Nick Bosa or a Joey Bosa or a Chase Young, but I do think, to my amateur eye, there's just been a drop-off in consistency of getting after the quarterback. And to your point, in games like that against Oregon, that's the last thing you want, right? Is to have a quarterback as talented as Dillon Gabriel is, with a couple weapons, and Evan Stewart and Tez Johnson, with just time to get after your secondary. And so that's something, as you were laying out, Coach Day said that they have to figure out, Dane, and that's why you did bring in Jim Knowles, and Larry Johnson's been around for a long time, so hopefully those guys can get on the same page. Because, look, I know this week you're dealing with a young quarterback in Dylan Raiola, but next week you'll get a guy in Drew Aller and an offense in Penn State that has gained a lot of confidence this year. And if you don't get after those guys, it could be an interesting day. Your thoughts on the defense coming out of the Oregon game, Dan?
Yeah, DeVier mentioned, you don't always want to have to bring DBs into blitz. You don't always want to have to bring pressure that leaves you short on the back end and leaves you a little bit exposed. But, as I watched the Oregon game, it did seem like we were just playing defense. And what I mean by that is, we were just kind of setting ourselves up and waiting to play defense on what they were going to run, instead of, as a defense, you can be offensive with your defense. You can go make plays and cause some chaos. And I didn't see all that much chaos when Oregon had the ball. It was almost like drop back, and I'm just hoping we're in the right position as that our DPs are in the proper alignment position to make these plays. So, I mean, and I think when you cause that confusion, and even, when you bring the blitz, sure, you're short on the back end. but it plants seeds of doubt in those offensive linemen but next play when you don't, that gives your DNs and your D linemen a little bit of an advantage. Maybe they're worrying about this more. Yeah. Maybe they're worrying about this, and then that gives you that little edge. Yeah. So, I mean, it's easy to look at it now and say it, but that's a way you can kind of create wins and pressure with the personnel you have. You don't always need to have a Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
But Oregon ran a really creative offense, right? They were clearly taking chances. What I would have liked to see was Ohio State's defense taking chances at them, going back at them instead of just trying to catch everything they were doing. Like, whoa, what the heck's happening here? Because they ran some cool stuff and reacting. I would love to see Ohio State saying, okay, well, here's ours. Watch this. On the defensive side, you might give up a big one. You might. But
we did.
But we did anyway. But we did.
Way too many.
So it's almost like you're playing poker, like, drop them, bro. You know what I mean?
Yep. Let's see what you got. It's a big game. You don't have to. We're not going to, and I say we as a fan, but, you can go take your shot as a defense. You don't have to have the ball to you can run some stuff, take some chances, put some guys in tough situations, but take a chance that, okay, I think
maybe a cowboy blitz every now.
I think we're going to get home with this. Maybe bring him off the corner. Screw it. Let's see what's happened.
That's good stuff from you guys. Really good stuff right there. Game day coverage is sponsored by Reichert Ford on the Fan, Ohio sports destination. When we come back, one tough animal time. We'll look back to last week, shine a light on player, coach, team that we thought really thrived at the highest level around college football. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan pregame show right here on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Things are looking really good on the roads so far. Highways and side streets both. 315, both north and southbound between Ackerman and 670. Moving along with just light to, in some spots, moderate volumes. Kenny Road, no problems there between Olentangy and Ackerman. And High Street is looking great with just a little bit of added volume right now. If you're looking for a parking spot, we still have some spaces available in the Neal Avenue Garage and the Ag Admin lots. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on the Fan.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family has been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center.
Reichert Chevy's dealing in Dublin. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Ohio State captain Travion Henderson.
Reichert has what I'm looking for.
Jack Sawyer.
Grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars from them.
Cody Simon.
You get the right car at Reichert. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
Shop hundreds of vehicles at ReichertChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. We're dealing.
You want an easy way to feed your friends? You get a Jersey Mike's catering box. You want an exciting radio idea? You get me. Like this. There's a Jersey Mike's catering box off the coast of Corsica that needs rescuing. Me and a team of mercenaries go in, barrel rolling past the sleeping guard, and we find the catering box in a secret bunker. I say, men, let's get these 12 subs home. But they're already eating them. That's the problem with mercenaries. You can't trust them. The Jersey Mike's catering box, a sub above.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth, and you'll become a role model, mentor, and decision maker in any environment, at any scale. It's a challenging path, but along the way, you'll sharpen your skills and show yourself and those around you exactly what you're capable of. Decide to lead at goarmy.com/officer.
The OSU Army ROTC has scholarships available. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu.
How big of a Jackets fan are you? Like, scary big? Prove it. Show us you are the biggest CBJ fan and you could win tickets to the Stadium Series at the Horseshoe. Head to 971thefan.com beginning Monday, October 28th to enter. Do it.
If your air conditioning or furnace stops working in the middle of the night, on a weekend, or over a holiday, there's no reason to wait to get it fixed. For 100 years, Atlas Butler has been here for your family. We're always open, we work on all furnace and air conditioner brands, and it's easy and convenient to request service. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
At KeyBank, we know a small moment like,
what's it like to have a yard?
Can lead to an even bigger question like,
am I ready to buy a home?
And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you, prepared to talk about everything you need to know when applying for a mortgage, so you can try to turn those backyard dreams into reality. Paul?
Yes?
Question. Are you a hammock person?
You know, I think I might be.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. NMLS 399797, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey fans, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine that helps restore aching joints. So if you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders, it's time to finally get relief, improve your mobility, and get back to doing the things you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no meds, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation with my friend Dr. Ray Tesner. They have locations in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544 or go to qckinetics.com/Columbus.
Football is built on tradition, and so is the Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. With a lifetime powertrain warranty on every vehicle purchase, you know you're getting a relationship that's built to last. Need service? Our Car Convenience service takes care of everything, from picking up your vehicle to dropping it off when it's done, leaving you with a rental car in between. And with 4 dealerships and a collision center, Hinderer Motor Company is your one-stop shop for all things automotive. Visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Temperatures will be in the 40s early Saturday morning. Partly cloudy skies. We'll see mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies throughout the day. Highs in the 60s by the afternoon, but Ohio State will kick off in the 50s. So if you're heading out, make sure you grab a jacket. You may need it early. Temperatures will be back down into the 30s Saturday night. 60s again Sunday afternoon. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy. Warmer temperatures return to the region by next week. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Chicken wings, check. Drinks, check. Listening to The Fan, check. It must be game day.
Sponsored by Reichert Chevy.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Can you smell it? Buckeye football is in the air. You're listening to the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by KeyBank. KeyBank opens doors.
Your home for the Buckeyes, The Fan. The Fan's one tough animal.
All right, welcome back here. DeVier Posey, Matty Ice, Dane Sanzenbacher. Depot, you're in the leadoff spot today, man.
Man, I'm sitting at home last week. Beautiful game, beautiful scene down in Knoxville, Tennessee versus Alabama. And when I said, I know my one tough animal right there on the couch, and it was Dylan Sampson, running back number 6. Had 26 carries for 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the thing about his performance was the first half was so solid, and then Nico kind of struggled in the pass game when Alabama got rolling a little bit, and then halftime comes, they go right back to Sampson and what kind of gave them success in the game, and he essentially ended the game with his effort. So big win for Tennessee, puts them in the playoff picture going in late into the season. Beating Alabama at home, man. Dylan Sampson.
That's good stuff. You know what's been interesting about Tennessee is, like, I think the perception for some people is when you see Tennessee, you think about this high-flying offense. And they had some of that with Hendon Hooker a couple of years ago. But under Coach Heupel, they've been an elite rushing attack the last few years. So Tennessee, they play that, you guys know, like they spread you out all the way out to the sideline and all that. And they can run it well. So, yeah, he's been a dude all year. He can go. Dane, who's your one tough animal this week, man?
I was at we were in Disney last weekend.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
It was good. So we were first time taking little man down there. So
you're my one tough animal from last week.
Yeah, so it's myself. No, so we were obviously Saturday. We're out and about. We're doing the I didn't get to watch many games.
Yeah.
But I always know there's one game that I'm going to have the score updates on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's them Hoosiers.
It's them Hoosiers. And my wife obviously went there. Huge fan for those that aren't normals to our program at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And so we got off one of the rides, and I checked the score, and I said, oh, my goodness. What is happening in Bloomington?
rolling.
I've been resisting it.
You haven't given
I've been
credit
resisting it
once this year.
I've been but I will give credit where credit. There was hype on that game last Saturday in Bloomington.
Yep.
When IU hosted this Nebraska team.
They were playing today.
Yep. And my one tough animal is Justice Ellison, the running back. Only had 9 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns, and pretty much, I think he averaged 11 yards a carry, did whatever he wanted to a Nebraska defense that was supposed to be great against the run.
Yeah.
So he is one, but I have to, last week's performance, I have to give it up. Those Hoosiers were tough animals.
Got to, man. And they've been getting a lot of national love. Big noon kickoff was there last week. Game day is there today. Unfortunate injury to Curtis Rourke, so we'll see if they can get past Washington with that. But, yeah, Coach Cignetti, man, he's got that place on fire.
Question. Yeah. So, if we don't beat Nebraska by 58 points, if we don't score more than Indiana, what is it going to be like when you get home?
I'm hearing it.
You guys aren't as good as us.
Boom. You got it.
Oh, man, I love it. I absolutely love it. My one tough animal, I'm going down to the ACC. I'm going down to the ACC, and I don't know if you guys saw what happened Thursday night, but it was a house of horrors for Kyle McCord going up against the Pitt Panthers because Kyle McCord threw 5 interceptions. 3 of those turned into pick sixes. So this is about Pitt, honestly, because they have been a very good team all year long down there in the ACC. ACC not getting a lot of buzz outside of Miami right now. Clemson's having a good year. But Miami and now Pitt are the only 2 teams in the ACC that are 7-0. And so you look at when you look at Narduzzi and what he's built there, you went to the transfer portal, grabbed some veterans, and now here they are imposing their will on the conference. So watch out for Pitt right now. They've been cranking their way up through the top 20, top 15 over the last couple of weeks. But it was just a dominant performance on defense, both through the air. Kyle couldn't do anything. They held their rushing attack, that being Syracuse's, to less than a yard per carry. They did nothing against Syracuse. And Syracuse and Kyle have been lighting up scoreboards and throwing for a bunch of yards all year.
He has 3 losses as a starter.
They just put the handcuffs on him.
Kyle has 3 losses as a starter. This is obviously his worst performance of his career.
Yeah.
And it's brought on by this Pittsburgh defense. And Coach Narduzzi was a Michigan State guy, correct? Right up.
I believe so.
D'Antonio disciple.
Yeah.
I think I remember him in his Cincinnati days. He was there. Mm-hmm. And so that defensive mindset that they had at Michigan State under D'Antonio was here at Ohio State in the 2002 National Championship. So they're playing that lights-out defense. And it's kind of crazy to think, like, we were looking at the ACC, like, all right, we think Miami can come out of this. Everybody had Florida State. Nobody picked, maybe Syracuse. But Pittsburgh?
Yeah. They've been the surprise. They've been the surprise, no doubt about it.
And isn't it kind of cool as the NCAA as a whole? Like, we looked at this year like, with all this shakeups, transfer portal, NIL, this is just big dogs getting bigger.
Yep.
But we haven't really seen it. I mean, there's been more parity, it feels like, this year. The big teams are losing. More upsets.
Than anything.
And it's just like you didn't think it was going to play out like this. You thought, this just equals the power teams becoming more power teams.
Yeah.
But you got teams like Pitt. You've got an undefeated Indiana team.
Say it again.
I can't. That will be it for this show's ends at 8:30, and that will be it. And I am officially done.
I think to your point, and it's probably bigger than what I'm about to say, but you look around college football and some of the upsets you mentioned, and at the quarterback position, I think it's these coaches that are grabbing guys that are juniors and maybe seniors from other programs that haven't played a lot or played at all, but have been around good environments that can come into a situation and not be shook. Curtis Rourke comes from OU. Yeah. Look at the quarterback from Vandy. I mean, you have a quarterback at Vandy that helped up. Have a massive upset because he's like, I'm a senior. Like, I'm not shook by Alabama or whoever it's going to be. So I think the power of the transfer portal is real and can really fast track you into certain weeks to where, hey, man, I'm Coach Cignetti. I got dudes from James Madison that I've coached for years.
And they're balling.
That can ball and be ready to go. So the transfer portal, it has its positives and negatives, I know, for a lot of people. But from a coach's perspective, you can get right now talent and really help get your program going.
Yeah, that is the best part. And on top of quarterbacks, like, you can just go and fill your, like, like you saw Ohio State try to do it with Justin Simmons, right? Like, oh, we need offensive lineman. Pluck. And, like, for teams around the country, you can go and get that Mike linebacker. You can go and get that safety, and you can just fill in. So it allows you. And I think where the transfer portal is going to keep the powerful teams powerful, but it's also going to make the teams that are like, right there. Like, I mean, look at Penn State. They went and got some guys. I mean, Julian Fleming is making plays. Tyler Warren is making plays. They went and got some guys, and now they look like they're over the edge of right where they needed to be. So, transfer portal, as much as I didn't like it, I love to hear the success stories. Like I don't like to hear the sad stories of guys going and never playing, or and oh, they told me something and it's not what it's not true. But when you go and it works out and you get an opportunity to play and you make a difference in your college career.
Yeah, it absolutely has added some balance to the
it just feels like a lot of people don't like it because you don't get that same feel for your team. You don't get to see a guy progress for the 4 years and get to know the guy. But as a whole, and I think we're seeing it play out this year, it elevates the parity in the league. It helps those teams. You don't have a bunch of talent buried on rosters because they're not going to be there long, right? They're going to go somewhere where they can play. Yeah. And now you have a situation where, Ohio State's not going to be hurt by the transfer portal, but the other teams are going to be helped. Yeah. And now is there a powerhouse in the NCAA this year? Is there one that you're absolutely guaranteed? Yeah. So now you've got this year that's set up now we're going to have a 12-team playoff, and we're not even sure who the best team is. That's like if taking your fan hat off of a certain team and just as the league as a whole, you're like, whoa.
Should be entertaining.
No, it's kind of a good product.
It already has been entertaining. Got to take a break. When we come back, the man that sits on the Iron Throne for 10 TV, Adam King, joins the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan Traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Just took a look at the ODOT traffic cameras, and they're showing light to moderate volumes and things moving really well, specifically on 315 between Ackerman and 670. Off on those side streets, it's pretty much the same story. Things are building up a little bit on Lane Avenue between High and Olentangy. Olentangy River Road is picking up just a bit of volume between Ackerman and Lane. If you're looking for parking, there are still spots available in the Union North and South garages, also the Arps and Neal Avenue garages. With Game Day Traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Hear those leaves crunching under your feet? Feel that cool nighttime air? It's definitely fall in Ohio. Fall is the perfect time to have the Waterworks inspect and tune up your furnace before the cold winter months hit. To inspect and protect your family against those wintertime furnace breakdowns, call 614-232-2222. Or visit thewaterworks.com today to schedule your fall furnace inspection and tune-up. Winter is just days away.
This year's starting lineup at Honda Marysville is as strong as ever, so come see us.
Choose from Ohio's largest selection of Hondas and get 0% for 60 on any new CR-V, HR-V, Passport Pilot, or Ridgeline with the trade.
Honda's built here, Honda's sold here. Honda Marysville. We're closer than you think.
0% with approved credit and 80% of MSRP financed. 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal at $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 10/31/24.
The Super Sale is back Friday and Saturday only at Meijer. Shop super low prices on game day and tailgate favorites like Hillshire Farm Little Smokies, just $3.49. Fresh from Meijer vegetable or fruit trays, buy one, get one for $1. And hell of a good refrigerated dips, buy one, get one free. Shop super low Meijer prices while supplies last and get the same prices in-store and online. Shop the Meijer Super Sale this Friday and Saturday only. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Gambling too much or just can't seem to cut your losses? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, pub and gambling counselor at Maryhaven. Whether it's you or someone you love, we're here to help you control gambling before it controls you. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven is here for you no matter what. And that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Confidential and judgment-free, go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota truck. Now through November 4th, get 1.9 APR financing or $2,000 customer cash on a new 24 Tundra. Excludes TRD Pro or lease a Tacoma SR Double Cab for $319 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Nobody builds better trucks than Toyota. Let's go places.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Buddy Wells. We'll start with some scores from last night. First up in college football, Louisville rallies out of a 20-0 deficit to win at Boston College, 31-27. Number 17 Boise State wins at UNLV, 29-24, and USC snaps a 3-game skid as they beat Rutgers, 42-20. In the NBA, the Cavaliers improved to 2-0 on the season with a 113-101 win over the Detroit Pistons. And in baseball, Freddie Freeman hit a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 10th inning as the Dodgers beat the Yankees 6-3 in Game 1 of the World Series. As we turn the page to today, of course, number 4 Ohio State is at home for a matchup against Nebraska. Kickoff at the Shoot between the Buckeyes and Cornhuskers is at noon. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. From F-150 to F-750, Valley Ford of Columbus is Ohio's commercial truck headquarters. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Saturday in Ohio. Birds are chirping. The sky is, blue, gray? I don't know. This is recorded in advance. But the most wonderful thing of all is Buckeye football. You're listening to the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Welcome back in. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. Dane Sanzenbacher, DeVier Posey. I'm Matty Ice. Good morning, Buckeye Nation. We've been getting you ready for Ohio State and Nebraska. The sun is finally coming up, and right now we're going to take a trip over to 10 TV and talk to the man that sits on the Iron Throne. His name is Adam King, AK. Good morning. How you feeling, big dog?
That's a loaded question I don't think you want to ask. I'll be honest with you. I have a strict relationship with the sun. I don't get up if it's not up. And I don't know what I'm doing here. Am I to believe that you guys are down on campus?
Yeah, we're down on campus. Yeah, we're here, man. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know where we are.
My goodness. The amount of respect I've gained is beyond wow.
Oh, my goodness. This guy, get an espresso shot and wake up at AK.
Go, King.
You know, AK, these guys earlier were talking about the 2-minute drill and, from the, that last drive for Ohio State from the player's perspective and the atmosphere and all that. You were there. Talk to us about that atmosphere in Autzen Stadium and how loud it was in the building, man.
It's interesting. I think that's the one thing lost in this whole shuffle. People obviously, can't experience that through the TV. That was the loudest stadium I've ever been in. When Will took that final snap of the game, I'm not one to wear earplugs to a football game. I think that's not my cup of tea, but I understood it for the first time. I mean, my head hurt. And that's credit to them. They did a phenomenal job of keeping the fans involved. I mean, Will even said it there this week. If that game's played somewhere else, maybe it's a different score, but, that was a remarkable atmosphere, and it definitely impacted the game.
Absolutely. King, wanted to ask you, man, how do you not right the ship, but how do you get off to a good pace and a good start here? What has been some of the rhetoric that you've been hearing over at the Woody on the mindset for this week, and some key things that this team on offense is focusing on, and some key things they're focusing on defense?
Well, you have to make sure you don't overcompensate too much from the Oregon loss. Yes, you lost. You want to make changes, but you also lost by 1 point to the number one team in the country on the road. So that tells you that you are one of the best teams in the country. With that said, they've talked a lot about how they want to be more aggressive on defense. Ryan Day has not been shy about the fact they have to get pressure with the defensive linemen. They have to get pressure with Jack and JT. On the offensive side of the ball, I think they just got to play their game. I mean, I thought the offense delivered pretty well in Eugene. They had some big moments that can't happen later in the season, like the fumble. They had a big moment like Will dropping the snap. But other than that, they were able to move the ball on the Ducks pretty well. I think what they have to do is come out and play their game, but also have some aggressiveness.
What's the player perspective been like? Have you I know you spent some time and you're pretty close with the team over there. From the player perspective, how have they kind of handled the loss?
I know that the bye week can be taken one of two ways. It can be, hey, you can totally tear things down and go back to school. And it can also be a problem that you don't have a game for 14 days. And I think that first couple days around the Woody was not, it hurt. I will tell you, after the game, just standing there kind of by the bus and talking with a couple of guys, it was hard. There was a lot of emotion, but after a couple of days, I think they all kind of flipped the script and remembered, hey, every single goal is still in front of us. That game mattered zero. It mattered in the fact that it helped us learn from our mistakes, but if we went out, we're going to reach every goal. We can still hang a banner, and we can still win the Big Ten and beyond.
Adam King for 10 TV joining us here on The Fan. AK, I want to ask you about the health of this team. I know there's been some rumors about Lathan Ransom and his availability. What do you understand about Quinshon Judkins and what he's been going through at the running back position right now?
From what I've heard, he's good to go. I mean, I'll tell you this much. If I had surgery on my hand, you wouldn't see me running around like a madman 2 days later, but he's good to go, and they tweaked up what was ever. It was kind of talked about before the Oregon game that he might have something wrong with his hand, and he was wrapped during the Oregon game. I am not here to make excuses. The Oregon game is in the past, but I will say, if your hand is hurting, and Quinshon's not one to fumble, but if your hand is throbbing, it's probably harder to tuck that football in there in the way that it's supposed to be, when the coaches are trying to punch it out. So, maybe this helps him in that regard. But yeah, he's good to go.
AK, I know, we all are, and I think we're almost there. I don't think anybody's going to be really past the Oregon game until we kick off at noon here, but we're almost there. But outside of the actual game, talk to me about the environment there, and I know you've touched on a little bit, but how, for you, as seeing that for the first time in the Big Ten, how exciting is that to now have that as another kind of entry into this league?
Well, I think it's going to take a long time for us to accept that as a Big Ten game. And so what makes it very cool is that it felt like a non-conference game. Yes, it was conference, but it carried the weight of Ohio State, Oregon. Yes, it was on the schedule in week 7, but man, it's Ohio State, Oregon, and it felt, I had a couple people over there say to me, like, this is the biggest game in the history of Autzen Stadium. And we get that now, not every year, but we're going to get it quite a bit.
AK, before we let you go, what's your schedule looking like today, man? How can we follow you on socials and on TV?
Well, I'm currently steaming my shirt, and then I'll stop and get a coffee, and then I'll head to the stadium, and then You can watch Game Time with Ryan Day coming up at 9 a.m., the official coaches show of Ohio State Athletics. Then go ahead and tune in wall-to-wall sports tonight. After 10 TV News at 11, we'll break down the whole game. I got the Buckeyes winning 45-10 in this one. I think they come out pretty strong, and I think they get it done against Nebraska pretty handily.
There we go. AK, we always appreciate your time, man. Good luck the rest of the weekend, and we'll chop it up with you next week to talk about Penn State.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
Here goes Adam King, who's on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Game Day sponsor right now is brought to you by Reichert Chevy. When we come back, top of the hour, Behind Enemy Lines, you will hear from Zach Carpenter, who covers Nebraska for Rivals.com after the break. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
If you're heading to Ohio Stadium right now, you have a really great drive ahead of you. No problems on the roadways accident-wise, light to moderate volumes. Just looked at the traffic cameras on 315 north and southbound between Ackerman and 670, and those stretches of highways are moving really nicely. If you just got off the highway and you're looking for parking, the Neal Avenue Garage has spaces available, as do the ARPS and Union North and South garages. With Game Day Traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
30% of D1 athletes report betting-related threats and harassment after games. This threatens the safety and mental health of students like Jade.
I'm a college athlete, and I'm more than a bet. When you threaten my life and my family because you lost money, it really scares me.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
We all know Central Ohio's growing fast. It's making traffic worse and life more expensive. That's why voting yes on Issue 47 is so important. Issue 47 will help folks get to work faster and cheaper by creating COTA Rapid Bus Service. That means more routes, better hours, and more reliable service. That will expand access to transportation for everyone in our community, from the elderly to the disabled, to veterans and students. And Issue 47 will make our neighborhoods safer and more walkable by building 500 miles of sidewalks, trails, and bikeways. When we pass Issue 47, we'll get $1 billion in matching funds from the federal government to pay for it. We're already sending our tax dollars to D.C. Let's bring some of that money home to help our community. Issue 47 means safer neighborhoods and a better quality of life for our families. It's an easy call. Vote yes on Issue 47. Paid for by moving Central Ohio forward.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited truck month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Here at The Fan, we give you 14 hours of live and local programming every day. We care about you. We live and work in your community. Except Bo Bishop. He won't tell us where the hell he is. Your live and local station. Except Bo. The Fan.
At KeyBank, we know a small moment like,
what's it like to have a yard?
Can lead to an even bigger question like,
am I ready to buy a home?
And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you, prepared to talk about everything you need to know when applying for a mortgage, so you can try to turn those backyard dreams into reality. Paul?
Yes?
Question. Are you a hammock person?
You know, I think I might be.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. NMLS 399797, Equal Housing Lender.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like America's best-selling car, Toyota Camry. It's all hybrid all the time with available all-wheel drive. Now through November 4th, you can lease a Camry LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Full inventory
inventory sale at Logan Services. Save up to $2,500 and 0% APR financing for 72 months on a qualifying Trane system. Plus, your choice of one air quality freebie. It's hard to stop a Trane with a system for every home and budget. Now, for a limited time, save up to $1,000 on a water heater and water conditioning combo. Ask us about tax credits when you book your free estimate now. Logan Services.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth, and you'll become a role model, mentor, and decision maker in any environment, at any scale. It's a challenging path, but along the way, you'll sharpen your skills and show yourself and those around you exactly what you're capable of. Decide to lead at goarmy.com/officer.
The OSU Army ROTC has scholarships available. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. How do you know it's Buckeye game day? Because I've ripped my shirt off in celebration. Do you like the Brutus tattoo on my chest? This is the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. The fans behind enemy lines.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Ford dealers. Visit your local Central Ohio Ford dealer today.
Behind Enemy Lines this week is brought to you by Zach Carpenter, who covers Nebraska for Rivals.com. We caught up with him on Rothman and Ice, and here's that interview for you now.
Listen, Indiana certainly was undefeated at the time, but they hadn't really had a signature win on their program for this year yet. Nebraska was supposed to be the best defensive test they were going to see. I don't think any of us saw that coming. What was the most alarming thing to Matt Rule post-game out of that one?
There's two things that I guess would be tied for first for the most alarming. And number one, one of them, 1A, I guess, is something that's been plaguing this program for several years, going on, at least a decade now, is confidence in these big games. There's such a mental hurdle to get over. It's like a golfer who's good enough to win the tournament, but can't get the putting straight, can't get the putting figured out. Where it's so mental, it's a confidence thing, it's a focus thing. And you heard after the game, you thought that this program was over it in these big time games. And then Illinois, you're up 7 in the fourth quarter, and then you lose you immediately allow a game tying touchdown. You lose in overtime. We heard about it from the players in the week after, our confidence was shaken. I'm paraphrasing, but it was the confidence being shaken, and after the Indiana loss, one of the leaders of the defense, one of the veteran guys, it's like, the number one thing that was an issue was our confidence. Like, when things don't start not going our way, guys put their heads down and everything. And it's like, I thought that this program, we were hopeful that they would be over that issue, because that game snowballed on Saturday against Indiana, where 7-0, you're driving, you're inside the 15-yard line, you convert a 4th and 1, fumble on that play, and then it just got out of control. The number 2, or 1B, I guess, is the offensive execution. They can't. There's a lot of simple things that Nebraska has had struggles with. Like, everything just seems so difficult right now for that offense. You get a guy it's 2nd and 8, catches a wide open swing pass and runs down and should have easily gotten all 8-9 yards and convert a first down, but then doesn't have the wherewithal to extend out for that extra yard, and runs out, pretty much gets chased out of bounds half yard short of the sticks, and then you're facing a 3rd and 1 when you could have easily gotten that first down. You'd easily break some of these tackles to get an extra 2-3 yards, or 1 or 2 yards even, and those are just examples of the little things that they just can't execute right now. It's making it tougher on a team where the margins are already razor thin for this team when you're playing in Indiana or in Illinois, even at Rutgers, where you have to execute those small things. Man, it sounds so simple, but when you're a program like this, those things really matter. So those would be the two of the main core issues right now.
All right, let's talk QB1. Let's talk Dylan Raiola. I mean, this guy has so much buzz around him before the season, just a freshman. You know, I've caught a couple of the games this year, and you see the flashes that he has as far as what his future could look like. But you covering this guy every single week, what have you learned about Dylan Raiola's strengths and weaknesses so far?
Yeah, and just to give a little background, I've been covering him since January 2021. Around that, I think it was 21. Now I can't remember. January 22 was when Ohio State started really hammering down in his recruitment, because I covered Ohio State recruiting for about 3 years for 11 Warriors, and then the Ohio State rival site, and that's when his recruitment really started picking up with the Buckeyes, and been following him ever since, and covering it, talking with him, talking with his coaches, and so it gave me a good perspective, a great background on who he was as a prospect, who he was as a person, as far as his approach to the game, and we've seen those special traits show up, whether it's the physical with the arm angles, arm strength, and the footwork in the pocket, and above all is his ability to command an offense. I mean, he's a 19-year-old true freshman starting in the Big Ten for a program that's putting so much on his shoulders. And over the first 5 games, he showed what he's capable of. He showed how special he was. I mean, for the Illinois game, he had one throw that in the fourth quarter, that he missed by a foot into the end zone that would have put him up 31-24 midway through, about 5 minutes or so, 6 minutes or so left in the fourth quarter. And that was the only blip on the radar that was that he could put on his shoulders in that game. Other than that, he was brilliant in that game. The following week against Purdue, I thought he had a nice bounce back performance. And in those first 5 games, you see the pro style offense. You see he makes so many checks at the lines. He's so adept at the pre-snap reads, diagnosing defense. He's so good in the preparation and the film work leading up to the game that they trust. The coaching staff has entrusted this young kid to essentially be the keys, the driver of the offense. But last couple of games, I think it's not just him struggling. I think the offensive line has given him good time, has given him enough time to throw consistently. I think one of the issues is the receivers here just not getting separation against press man coverage, and you're seeing him be hesitant to fireball in there, whether it's a tight throw or even some of the wider windows that he has that he could throw to. I think you're seeing some hesitancy because he's a very risk-averse quarterback. But when you're not confident in your guys' own ability to get open, I think that sort of plays a factor. But he's also left some short against Indiana. He left some throws short. I think the way that defenses are playing them now, mixing up man coverage and mixing up zone looks, but mainly the man looks are what the issue is right now, because the Nebraska receivers aren't getting open, and zone coverage is the one that is the main defensive look that Dylan Raiola was able to carve up across those first 4 or 5 games. So that's a problem going into an Ohio State game where they have the dudes. Obviously, they have the dudes on the outside. I think that Ohio State has a cornerback number 2. Like their number 2 cornerback might be a little they have a question mark. I think I've been following. So, and Lathan Ransom, I don't know if he's going to miss time. So it's going to be interesting on Saturday to see what sort of defensive looks Ohio State gives him to try to confuse them with Jim knows what sort of pressure and blitz designs they have in store for him.
All right, Zach, we'll do just a final quick synopsis. If I asked you this, give me your knee-jerk reaction, kind of a quick answer. Are you more confident that Nebraska's offense shows up this weekend or their defense? If you had to pick one.
The defense for sure, because just because I think the foundation I think is better, and the leader, the defensive coordinator, I think has shown more consistency in being able to diagnose issues after a loss like that and come back prepared, get his guys ready. That's Tony White. He's still, even despite them giving up 56 points, I think he's proven himself to be one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. He's going to be a head coach someday, whether it's this upcoming off season or the next. So I have a little more faith in I have faith in Dylan Raiola to bounce back as a quarterback, but if you're looking at the units as a whole, I go with the defense.
Okay, well, something's got to click for them. We'll see, but it may not happen this weekend. But they've had a decent season up to this point outside of last week. We'll see if this provides any drama Saturday in the shoe. Zach, enjoy it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
That was Behind Enemy Lines for you this week, top of the hour. Who's got the heat around the corner? And you will hear from Will Howard. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan Traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Roadways are moving well right now. Northbound and southbound 315 between Ackerman Road and 670. No problems to report there. Moving with light to moderate volumes. Off of the highway and onto the surface streets, you're going to see some increasing volume, especially right around the Ohio Stadium. Woody Hayes is getting heavier, as is Lane Avenue between Neal and Olentangy River Road. Olentangy just picked up a little bit of volume between Ackerman and Kinnear. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Dormar, your climate hero.
Dort, what's that guy yelling about in my noisemaker?
Dormar, your climate hero.
Your climate hero, you fossil?
What's a climate hero?
That's Dormar, our same-day heating and AC company we've used for 60 years.
Who?
Dormar, your climate hero.
Come on, Dad, you laugh every time you hear their Tidy Whitey commercials.
Yep, those are funnier.
Dormar, your climate hero.
Football is built on tradition, and so is the Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. With a lifetime powertrain warranty on every vehicle purchase, you know you're getting a relationship that's built to last. Need service? Our Carvenience service takes care of everything, from picking up your vehicle to dropping it off when it's done, leaving you with a rental car in between. And with 4 dealerships and a collision center, Hinderer Motor Company is your one-stop shop for all things automotive. Visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Your weekend freebie is free Kroger brand pasta sauce. Simply clip your digital coupon and spend $50 or more Saturday or Sunday. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Now at Menards, save big money on everything for your next painting project. Give your space the Platinum treatment with Platinum Plus interior paint. Its stain shield technology protects your spaces with a performance you'd expect from luxury paint. Save big on Dutch Boy paints at Menards, and don't forget to check out Dutch Boy's 2025 color of the year, Mapped Blue. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We all know Central Ohio's growing fast. It's making traffic worse and life more expensive. That's why voting yes on Issue 47 is so important. Issue 47 will help folks get to work faster and cheaper by creating CODA Rapid Bus Service. That means more routes, better hours, and more reliable service. That will expand access to transportation for everyone in our community, from the elderly to the disabled, to veterans and students. And Issue 47 will make our neighborhoods safer and more walkable by building 500 miles of sidewalks, trails, and bikeways. When we pass Issue 47, we'll get $1 billion in matching funds from the federal government to pay for it. We're already sending our tax dollars to D.C. Let's bring some of that money home to help our community. Issue 47 means safer neighborhoods and a better quality of life for our families. It's an easy call. Vote yes on Issue 47. Paid for by moving Central Ohio forward.
Gambling too much or just can't seem to cut your losses? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Maryhaven. Whether it's you or someone you love, we're here to help you control gambling before it controls you. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven is here for you no matter what. And that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Confidential and judgment-free, go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
When the leaves fall, so do the prices at Valley. Drive into autumn in a 2024 Ford Bronco at up to $9,500 off MSRP. Lease a new Escape Active, just $289 a month for 36 months for a limited time. Drive away a new Ford Edge SE and save up to $7,500 off MSRP. For these deals and more, get to Valley Ford of Columbus, the official dealership of wide receiver Carnell Tate.
Keep on trucking with Valley Ford of Columbus.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Buddy Wells. We'll start with some college football scores from last night. Louisville rallies out of a 20-0 hole to win at Boston College, 31-27. Ashton Gente's fourth quarter score helps number 17 Boise State win at UNLV, 29-24. And Southern California wins at home 42-20 over Rutgers. As we turn the page to today, we have several top 25 matchups on tap. At noon, number 12 Notre Dame will face number 24 Navy at MetLife Stadium. At 3:30, top-ranked Oregon will host number 20 Illinois. Also, number 21 Missouri is at number 15 Alabama. At 4:15, number 5 Texas goes on the road to number 25 Vanderbilt. And at 7:30 tonight, number 8 LSU is at number 14 Texas A&M. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, Bronco Explorer, Mustang Mach-E, and more. You can ride into autumn with Valley Ford of Columbus. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
You're listening to the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Getting you ready for another Buckeye victory. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. As you prepare for another Buckeye football Saturday, one very important question remains. Who's got the heat?
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Let Logan Services bring the heat to your home this season. Free same-day estimates, next day installation. Logan Services.
Welcome back in. Matty Ice, DeVier Posey, Dane Sanzenbacher getting you ready for Ohio State and Nebraska. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. All right, fellas, which one? Who's leading it off this week? Who we putting some heat on? Dane?
I'm going to crank up the heat in Ann Arbor.
Okay.
I think I've done it before, but it's a place I like to turn up the heat on.
Okay. Yeah.
Michigan has had its struggles this year, obviously.
Yeah.
They're kind of floundering. Can't find a quarterback.
Right.
Coming off a loss to Illinois. They are hosting the Spartans in Ann Arbor. Michigan State's coming to town. The old in-state rival. Both of them are 4-3, I believe. Michigan needs, as much as this season probably already is to much of the fan base, and even the coaches, players feels like a wash, this could be a backbreaker. If you lose this one to your in-state rival, next week you got Oregon. Good luck.
Who else is on the schedule, Day, for Michigan?
Oh, you know who's up after that.
Oh, road game.
Them Hoosiers. It doesn't get, you don't have walkover. So if you're Michigan, it's funny to talk about them in that sense, but you've got to take the wins you can get. This is one of them.
Yeah.
So I got to imagine they're feeling some heat, and I'm happily putting a little bit more heat.
It's a good call. I like
them in Ann Arbor.
Depot, who you got this week?
So, neutral site game. Obviously, Notre Dame is going against one of the country's hottest teams in the Navy shipment. And the thing about this series is it's one of the oldest played series in college football, Notre Dame versus Navy, but Navy hasn't won since around 2010. So it's a season where they're 7-0. Notre Dame has a loss, and you gotta wonder, like, can Notre Dame drop this game? So I'm heating up Notre Dame this week.
I love both your picks. I think this is a tricky game for Notre Dame. You guys know Navy, that style of play is very different.
It's so hard to prepare for.
Navy is top 5 in the country in rushing yards per game, but they can also spin it at a decent clip as well. And on the flip side of that, Notre Dame's done a great job of running the ball too. So this is the first 5-0 start. Undefeated start for Marcus Freeman as his young tenure as a head coach. So they've been rolling, but it's always cool to see Navy doing their thing. So I like that a lot. I'm going down to Tuscaloosa. This is it. This is it for Alabama. You lose today to Missouri. And you're probably not getting in the playoff this year. This would be their third L of the year, and you just watch them, and you see Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams. That's always a highlight for them. But watching their game last week, it was almost too much Ryan Williams, if that makes sense, because you zoom out from that, and it's like, where are the other playmakers? They're so dependent on him to make plays all the time that their offense feels bogged down throughout games. And so today you take on Missouri. There's questions about Brady Cook, their starting quarterback, whether or not he'll play. Both these teams have played a lot of close games this year for Alabama. They've been in a bunch of tight games, and obviously a couple of them haven't gone in their favor. But I just think the pressure of this game, as far as what it means for them big picture-wise the rest of the way, the heat is absolutely cranked up on Kalen DeBoer, because that puts them behind the 8 ball with so many other teams that are succeeding in other conferences in the Big 12 and in the Big 10, that you rack up a third loss with 2 other games, I believe, against ranked opponents on your schedule, and it might be curtains for Alabama if they don't get it done today.
And more than any year ever have I felt like this Alabama team has been undisciplined. Like they've done things like out of character, and you can the talent drop-off isn't there. They have the same players. I mean, those are obviously Saban's players, but the discipline under DeBoer and his group has been stark contrast.
It's a completely, unless I'm mistaken, a completely new coaching staff too.
Yes.
And I talked to a few, coaches that would know this type of thing, and they were very surprised that when DeBoer took that job, he didn't keep a single Alabama coach on staff. And even if it was for the simple thing of retaining some bit of the old regime with the players that you have in there.
Culture.
Keeping a little bit of that culture and being able to retain some players. I know they had some guys transfer, obviously.
We got one.
But obviously talent's not their issue, but just retaining a little bit of that maybe makes that transition. But what you're seeing is a really talented team, but it's a completely new, it's just a stark coaching change, stark culture change, and that could be why you're seeing a little bit of lack of discipline, little things here and there. There's just not a lot of carryover to what we're used to Alabama being.
Fellas, it's Missouri this week at home, and then you got to go into Death Valley and take on LSU next week in your next game. So
not being talked about enough, LSU, man.
They're
in the playoff
quietly
picture.
having a very good season down there for LSU. And I believe they got a pretty big game today as well. Can't remember off the top of my head who they're playing. Yeah, they do, but that's at Kyle Field, which you guys know is a very tough place to play. Let's hear from Will Howard, get back to some Buckeye talks. Here he is on, there's been some conversation this week about the deep ball, right, and maybe those not popping up as much as some people would like. Here's Will Howard's thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's something we want to do and push the ball down the field. I don't think we've really done a ton of it yet, but we have the ability to do it, and I think we're going to work it this week a lot. And if he wants to launch some balls, let's do it. Like that's fun, man. Throwing deep balls is fun. So we got to keep doing it and just keep getting better at it every day.
Absolutely. It was something that me and Matty were talking about this week. Day had his presser on Tuesday, Dane, and I thought that Day was talking about defending the deep ball, and I was like, and I corrected Matty Ice, and he was like, no, DeVier, like he was actually talking about we aren't throwing the ball down the field. And like when I thought about it, I was like, well, Jeremiah had his long run, then we had that long completion, that one-hander, But now that you say it, I haven't really been seeing the Chris Olave posts, the Marvin Harrison go balls, the seam routes. And that, to me, is what Ryan Day, like, that's his offensive innovation. And the reason why he got this gig is because he can find ways to push the ball vertically, more creative than any other coach in the country. And I think with Chip, he does a good job of marrying personnels and doing running game. But Chip isn't historically a pass. Like, we can't name a first-round wide receiver that Chip Kelly had, right? So I think this offense has to have this 2 weeks to, like, merge Ryan Day's innovation. Like, he needs to kind of come back and put in, like, his vertical passing, because obviously that's missing, and he's been vocal about it. But also continuing to do what we're doing there. But I hadn't noticed it until that interview.
That's an interesting point. And I wonder if we'll see that moving forward is, you know, in Coach Day has been very clear that, hey, it's Chip's offense. Like, that's what I brought him in for.
Right.
But if this is that point in the year where you start to see a little bit more collaboration, where they sit in those meetings and say, hey, this has worked for us before. This is something our guys like to do where we've been traditionally good at. Let's see. You know, I don't know if we'll see it this week. Typically, you don't, in press conferences or anything, telegraph that, hey, we're going to start throwing the ball deep this week, right before we start throwing the ball deep. So I don't know if you're going to see it this week, but I would think they'll probably start to incorporate a little bit more. But, you know, the deep ball is one of those things, too, that it's usually an option, but you don't force it. You don't want to go in, I want to plan today. I'm going to throw a deep ball. Like, if it makes itself available, I just think in the past we had that type, and we obviously have a great receiver room now, but guys that were specifically good, Olave comes to mind specifically.
Who is our deep post guy?
That's what I don't know.
Is it? I feel like it's Carnell, right? Like, he gives you that Z type of downfield threat, but like, who is the top off the coverage guy?
Right, you don't know, but that's the type that you've had that guy before, and maybe that guy just hasn't been established yet.
No doubt about it. The Fan Pregame Show is presented by KeyBank. For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. Coming up next, East to West, we'll look at the Big Ten schedule for the remainder of today. Final thoughts on Ohio State and Nebraska right around the corner. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Roadways are moving well right now. Northbound and southbound 315 between Ackerman Road and 670. No problems to report there. Moving with light to moderate volumes. Off of the highway and onto the surface streets, you're going to see some increasing volume, especially right around the Ohio Stadium. Woody Hayes is getting heavier, as is Lane Avenue between Neal and Olentangy River Road. Olentangy just picked up a little bit of volume between Ackerman and Kinnear. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on the Fan.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Hear those leaves crunching under your feet? Feel that cool nighttime air? It's definitely fall in Ohio. Fall is the perfect time to have the Waterworks inspect and tune up your furnace before the cold winter months hit. To inspect and protect your family against those wintertime furnace breakdowns, call 614-232-2222. Or visit thewaterworks.com today to schedule your fall furnace inspection and tune-up. Winter is just days away.
Hey fans, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine that helps restore aching joints. So if you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders, it's time to finally get relief, improve your mobility, and get back to doing the things you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no meds, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation with my friend Dr. Ray Tesner. They have locations in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544 or go to qckinetics.com/Columbus.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like the best-selling RAV4. Now through November 4th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new gas-powered 2024 RAV4. Or lease a RAV4 LE for $339 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details. Or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Bo Bishop here. Join us for the Make a Difference Gala, High Bank Distillery, November 12th. It's bourbon, food, and fun with Brady Quinn, Bobby Carpenter, and me. The gala benefits the Third and Goal Foundation, making a difference in the lives of veterans. Get your tickets today at 971thefan.com. 21 or older, please drink responsibly.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and the multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I cannot imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Thank you for calling Great Lakes. Great Lakes Kia.
Do you like scary movies?
Nah, they don't scare me.
What does scare you?
High car payments. They make me want to scream.
And at Great Lakes Kia?
We have brand new Kias under $5 a day. Come pick one out.
Maybe I'm already here.
Cool. Lease new 24 Kia Forte LXS, EV6 Wind, and Sorrento LX. All 3 under $5 a day.
That's only $139 a month for 24 months.
Plus new 24 Kia Telluride LX under $8 a day.
$249 for 24 months.
At Great Lakes Kia.
What if I have scary credit?
No problem. Get approved with 0% financing.
Perfect. And I'm right behind you.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Great cars, great people, Great Lakes Kia.
In Columbus, GreatLakesKia.com.
Can I hang up now?
To qualified buyers, visit GreatLakesKia.com for details.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Temperatures will be in the 40s early Saturday morning. Partly cloudy skies. We'll see mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies throughout the day. Highs in the 60s by the afternoon, but Ohio State will kick off in the 50s. So if you're heading out, make sure you grab a jacket. You may need it early. Temperatures will be back down into the 30s Saturday night. 60s again Sunday afternoon. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy. Warmer temperatures return to the region by next week. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Got your game face on? I mean, have you actually painted your face? Good job, buddy. It's game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Riker Chevy.
The Fan. This is the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your flagship home for Buckeye football, The Fan, Ohio sports destination. It's The Fan's East to West.
Welcome back in. DeVier Posey, Dane Sanzenbacher, Matty Ice. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. All right, fellas, here's the Big Ten schedule for today. High noon. Right across the street from us, Nebraska and Ohio State. Big noon kickoff in the house. Noon as well around the Big Ten. You'll have Washington going into Bloomington.
Yes, sir.
Taking on the Hoosiers. It will be fascinating to see how Indiana's offense operates without Curtis Rourke. You mentioned their running back earlier, Dane, so it could be a big day for him. At 3:30, you got Illinois going into Eugene to take on the number 1 team in the country, and Oregon, also Northwestern, Iowa, Maryland, Minnesota. That rounds out your 3:30 window. 7:30, it is Penn State taking on Wisconsin. That's interesting. Wisconsin and Fick, they've won 3 games in a row, so they've got some good momentum as they get to host Penn State. And then, as Dane mentioned earlier, it'll be Michigan State taking on Michigan at 7:30 on the Big Ten Network. What's interesting to you on the Big Ten slate, fellas? Anything specifically?
Yeah, I think the 2 I talked about already are kind of my top ones. I'm looking forward to I guess, checking the score on this one because it's a noon game. But the really game of the week is Indiana-Washington.
I don't think it is.
Well,
no,
but for
Illinois
you,
or Oregon
I
for you,
should-
Depot?
I should say-
it is. Say it.
In your household, it
It's
is.
not.
In your household, it is.
Set
man.
yourself up. It is. It is. It's the game of the week.
Yeah, it is, man.
Game day's there is what I meant. I couldn't think of game day. I was going to say big noon. I was like, it's not big noon. Game day's there.
Yes.
So for game day, it's the game day. Yes, it's not the best game of the week. Come on, man.
Devo, for you, anything on the schedule with Big Ten wise that you're interested in?
Yeah, I'm interested in the Illinois and Oregon game, just because Illinois is a team that I'm still trying to figure out. They've had some signature wins this year, but this win, we'll love to see them. Just Oregon just flying high. If they can handle this Illinois team, I mean, they're ranked in the top 25, so it's going to be a good team. And then also, like, major upset alert for me out of all the Big Ten is Penn State going to Camp Randall. I cannot understate enough, what Coach Fickle and that team can do to you up in Camp Randall. You can't go up there. Me and Dane know you can't. You just walk through Camp Randall thinking you're just going to get an easy win. You have to go up there and dominate because you could be in a game and that place can be doing jump around at the start of the fourth quarter.
Those are two really good ones. I think a good point about the Oregon game, too, is they're coming off, like you said, the biggest game in probably the history of the stadium, Adam told us. Some of the fans are talking. How do you then follow that up the next week? There's going to be a lot to see there in how do they respond to this huge win to now coming in. Now you're number one. Is there a letdown? You can't really afford that. This is a good team.
I normally if I hit a good drive in the fairway, my second shot, I'm probably going to chunk it. It's hard to handle success, Dane.
Yeah,
I don't know if
really
Oregon is like my golf game.
It's tough.
Oh, man, that would be definitely a see. And also, you got to give credit to Brett Bielema and what he's been able to do since coming up to Illinois, right? And putting out a good product year in and year out. So you got a couple veteran quarterbacks going at in that game, Dylan Gabriel and Luke Altmaier. Definitely interesting to see how Illinois handles that on the road. I want to hear from Cody Simon because the defense has been the focus all week long, and rightfully so, just because of some of the things that we've seen in big games for Ohio State over the last couple of years on that side of the ball. Here's Cody Simon on Jim Knowles and how he's handled things as DC coming out of the Oregon game.
We put so much work and so much effort into like doing our job, and he puts so much work in. I know he's always grinding everything. So for him, it's really just like, how can we be better? And it's the same conversation that all the players have. Like, what can we do to be better, and how can we fix it? Because, I'm sure everyone has plays that they regret, and I think he did really. I think he called a pretty good game, but we just didn't execute, and we got to do better. Like when he gives us a call, and we just got to get our cleats in the ground and go.
You guys have done a great job examining what happened in Eugene, and the one thing that I think about, not only in the game against Oregon, but just zooming out from that game and thinking about some of the other big games that Ohio State has played, those measuring stick games, right, is just the amount of big plays that the defense has given up. And again, those guys are good, talking about the other players that they're going up against, so you have to give them love. But you talk about the game against the Ducks, and 6 players for Oregon had plays of 25 yards or more. And in those games, right, where you're allowing big plays and you're not creating pressure, that's always going to come back to bite you. So I don't know if that's got to be a huge thing for them today, taking away the big play from Nebraska, but a couple games moving forward, specifically next week against Penn State, that's what I want to see, is not allowing teams to just rip off those 25-yard plus runs or those 25-yard plus passing plays, man, because those are backbreakers.
Yeah, I think we had this is our string of best quarterbacks. I think we're going to see.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see Dylan, Raiola, Aller. Purdue's quarterback's pretty decent. Then you go into Curtis Rourke. So this is our best string of quarterbacks we're going to see. I want to see our defense figure out how to defend a good quarterback and shut Raiola down today for sure.
I think there is concern in the amount of big plays they gave up in the Oregon game.
Yeah.
But to me, a bigger concern is the lack of big plays they made on defense. They made themselves.
The takeaways, yeah.
What I'm more looking forward to today against Nebraska, you don't have to play a perfect game.
Yeah.
You don't have to not give up a big play.
Yeah.
I want to see the defense make plays. Because I think that's the biggest shift they can make, of not thinking of did we call a good game? Did we protect? Did we do? But go make something that's going to change the game, because Ohio State's defense didn't have a real impact. There wasn't thing you could look at like this pick, this turnover, this sack, just wreaking havoc. The great defenses do that. That's what I want to see a little bit more of today.
Depot, can I get a final score out of you before we hand it over to the guys?
All I know is we, for Dane's sake, we got to score more than 56 points.
Yeah,
that's what Indiana scored last week. So we got to go 58, 57, 58.
Oh, fair enough. Fellas, it was good. Good to see you, Dane. Depot, good to see you. Folks, we always appreciate your time. We're going to hand this thing over now to my main man, Anthony Rothman, Andy Katzenboyer, and Tim May, and they will continue to get you ready for Nebraska taking on Ohio State at high noon in the shoe. We'll be back next week at the same time, bright and early, for the Penn State game on the road, 6:30 kick. Don't miss this, folks. This has been the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan Traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
We're starting to see some volumes pick up on 315 on the northbound side. It's just a little bit more crowded between the King Avenue Medical Center exit and Lane Avenue. On the southbound side, you'll see a few more friends on the highway from Ackerman Road to Lane Avenue. Side streets are also seeing a little bit more action. The Olentangy River Road stretch between Ackerman and Kinnear, and North High Street between Lane and 11th. With Game Day Traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.